We are going to get the latest on the 6-year-old boy missing in North Carolina. He does have autism. They held another news conference today. That's coming up next.
One thing I'll add before we begin the rest of the press conference, Maddox's father, Ian, is at the park with us now. He is retracing their route, where they were, and their day. That is why he is not with us right now. He is with us across the street helping with this investigation and to further this case.
Good afternoon. I'm Robert Helton. I'm the police chief here in Gastonia. It's been 75 agonizing hours since 6-year-old MADDOX Rich disappeared. 75 hours. We don't want another hour to pass before we find him and bring him home. The law enforcement and search efforts that have answered the call to help us has just been humbling. Since Saturday, there have been 260 law enforcement investigators, agents, analysts, and other personnel that have been working around the clock to find MADDOX. We have followed more than 150 leads, conducted hundreds of interviews, gathered surveillance video from stores all over the area, searched thousands of acres of land on foot, with ATVs, and by boat. But we haven't found MADDOX. Everywhere I go and where our officers go, people are asking, how can I help? Hundreds of people were in the park Saturday. We feel sure that more people noticed MADDOX than the ones that we have talked to. In particular, some of the witnesses that we have spoken to saw a professional photographer out there that day, and we'd like to talk with him. He was described as a white male in his early 30s. He was taking photos of 3 white children dressed in Dr. Seuss costumes, holding balloons. Both their parents were there as well. We would like to talk to all of those people if they could make a call to us and talk with us. There was also a male jogger nearby that we haven't been able to identify, and we would like to talk to him as well. It's so important for folks to call us and to let us know what they saw and what they saw that day so that we can put together a timeline of exactly where MADDOX was at and the last time that he was seen at the park. These people are valuable witnesses. Even if you don't think you can help, please call us and let us decide if your information can help us. There were a lot of children in the park Saturday, including some other blonde-haired boys wearing orange shirts. But we need to know if you saw our blonde-haired boy with the orange shirt. The special tip line, again, is 704-869-1075, 704-869-1075. At this time, I will turn it over to Gastonia Fire Chief Phil Welch, who's going to talk a little bit about the search efforts. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Phil Welch. I'm the Fire Chief of the City of Gastonia. Me and my department have been involved in the search from the start. To give you an idea of the effort, and I know most of you have been just outside the park entrance and have seen multiple agencies, firefighter, EMS, police officers come and go through the facility. As you probably know, the park area is approximately 250 acres. It is bounded by some swamplands, fenced area, and we've searched and researched every day with new search personnel every piece of the property. Our personnel have changed. They're all trained. They are firefighter, law enforcement, and EMS, emergency management, some specialty teams with some specialty trained dogs. You've seen the helicopters, which one is flying now. We have drone teams there. Every day, even beginning Saturday evening, we've had Charlotte firefighters that are here with sonar boats and divers every day. So we're trying everything. We've gone beyond the entrance of the park, as you've seen the personnel come and go. and we've expanded our search. If you know the geography of Gastonia, we've gone to the east, bounded to the south by I-85, and we've gone to the east just at 3 miles. We've traveled Long Creek on up to about 4 miles now, and we just expanded on that. We've already set personnel in place for tomorrow, and we will continue to cover the park and the areas outside the park. FBI.
Thank you. I just wanted to include 2 other pieces of information, and one is that the FBI is now including a $10,000 reward for information that's going to help us find MADDOX. But I also wanted to make a plea to individuals that might not understand the damage that can occur when they forward messages about maybe MADDOX being found or details that aren't actually true. I'm not sure if I can express how difficult that is for family to have to endure. And so I hope that people keep in mind when they push some piece of information out and start spreading it through social media, that at the very minimum it's damaging the mother and the father and the family members who are so desperately searching for MADDOX, but it also can complicate the investigation and the search that we have. So I please would just ask that if you don't see the information coming from an official source such as Gastonia PD or the FBI, I really think it's irresponsible for you to continue to push that message out, and I would ask that you would not do that anymore on behalf of all of us who are searching for MADDOX. Thank you. We'll take a few questions at this point.
Where are you seeing those fake reports coming from?
I don't think I'm going to go into the details, but a lot of them are individuals, and that's really where we're seeing them, and many times they've been forwarded multiple times, and they start gathering a lot of attention, and it takes us time to get to the source. Typically, in this case, we've identified the source of the information, and we have a conversation with them to make sure that they don't continue.
How damaging is it because of all that?
Well, it's not only is it depleting resources for us to have to do that, instead of having our agents and detectives investigating or having the search parties potentially stop the search that they're doing because they believe that something's changed. So I would say that that's probably the least damaging, and probably the greatest damage is to a mother and a father who are desperate to get any information they can about their child.
We know that you're looking in multiple places, but as far as the landfill this morning, is that anything that was somewhere you guys researched or just kind of a routine place that you guys might look?
I don't think it's uncommon in other cases such as this where a child goes missing that we would search everywhere, including landfills and dumpster dives. It really is for us part of the SOP, and I don't think anyone should take too much away from the fact that we're doing that. We're just, once again, making sure that we cover every single lead that we have.
Can you confirm a couple of locations today? The house on Shelby Road in Kings Mountain, and also the Jackson County landfill. Are either of those connected? Can you all confirm that searches there happen and it's connected to the search for MADDOX?
Yes, those locations are both connected in the sense that they're part of this community, and that's why we would pay special attention to those locations. But I don't think that anyone should take too much information away that we went to those locations.
What can you tell us about the friend or whoever it was that was with the father that night in the park?
Nothing.
Can you tell, is that person helping with the father at the park right now?
That person is helping in this investigation, not necessarily with the father right now.
We heard reports from dispatchers that there was a delay in the initial reporting of MADDOX being missing. Can you confirm that? Was there a delay? If so, how long was it? And who was it who initially called in that he was missing? Chief?
Yeah, I think initially when he went missing, I believe there was some time that they began looking. A part-time park employee was the one that actually reported this. Realized, hey, we need to get the police out here. It was good enough to go ahead and make that call and call in. When he did call in, and we're working on releasing that 911 call, but when he did call in, he had very limited information about MADDOX or anything that was happening, just knew that there was someone that was lost. And so he called in and got the police on the way out there.
Chief Welch, how deep is that lake?
Normally, it's 12.5 feet at the deepest point. As it set when we began the search, it was 10.5 feet. It had dropped, and we began dropping the lake now. So it is down to the deepest point now is about 8.5 feet, and it's continuing to be drained.
Can you talk about what areas of the search? I know that you said yesterday you were retracing, backtracking. Are there any areas of the park, around the park, that you completed the search and you're confident that you don't need to look there again?
We search the park completely every day. and different team would come in the next day and research it. And honestly, for the past 2 days, there was a morning search and an afternoon search. So we've been over the park multiple times with different teams.
Is there any information specific to Maddox's, where he falls along the autism spectrum in terms of what he may be attracted to, places where he may be, that you may search more than others, whether it be the water, or that in terms of children along the spectrum? Any information about his form of autism?
Well, the answer to your question is yes, there is information, and that information has been shared with us, and we're using that in our efforts to try to find him. Now, I don't think I would feel comfortable sharing that information because I think it's personal about Maddox, but that is absolutely something that we need to consider when we're looking for somebody who's on the spectrum, and that information has been presented to the searchers. It's been part of the search. I think you're aware that we used his mom and dad's voice because we felt that that would be something that would be helpful to bring him out of the wood line if he was there. So the answer is yes.
Aside from the father telling you guys that he went missing at the park, have you had any other corroborating evidence that points to the child being at the park on Saturday?
Yes, we have.
Can you speak to why he's not eligible for an Amber Alert?
There's very specific criteria to be met, and in this case so far has not met that criteria. We did recheck with the National Center yesterday to see if this would qualify, and again, it does not at this point. But really, when you have an Amber Alert, one of the things that you want to push out is like a vehicle description or a tag number, and you want to get that out everywhere for folks to be on the lookout for, and we really don't have that right now to push out. The main thing that we want to do is push out that he's missing and his identity, and you guys have been great to help us do that, and I really have appreciated the coverage. This morning was wonderful to see this all over all the news agencies, and we really do appreciate that help. And that's the main thing that we want to get out right now is that he's missing, and anybody that has information or that has seen him to please call us.
Looking into the criteria for the Amber Alert, it was about dictating an abduction or not, and is it accurate to say that you guys you don't think he's been abducted, and that plays into why it's not been listed as an Amber Alert, or is it just the details of the
right now we're not ruling anything out. We're looking at all possibilities, and I'm sure you all have questions. We have questions, and we're trying to explore all of those. But the facts that we have right now is that he was at the park, or we feel like he was at the park, and so that's where our concentration is at right now.
Do you have any people that are persons of interest right now, and if so, how many different people? I mean, I know you wouldn't name who they are, but do you actually have people that are persons of interest, which is terminology you guys use all the time?
I think the way I would answer that is that there are, and it's part of why we're leveraging and working with the media, and principally the persons of interest that we have now are witnesses or can help us construct a very specific timeline. And that's why we need the individuals who are at that park to come forward. So we really appreciate it. As the chief said, it's been invaluable to have you guys spread the message. We really hope to find them. Thank you.
How many leads have y'all followed up on?
100. Yeah, well, 100 already. Yeah. Thank you. So as we've done this week, we're going to take the comments here and we will put them together as a press release that we push out. We're going to continue to post photos of the search. I know that you guys cannot access every area where we are. We are getting those folks to send pictures to us. We have some on Facebook right now of kayakers who were out today. We are pushing that on Facebook as well as the FBI's Twitter page. We greatly appreciate everything that you guys are doing to help us. I would ask that no one try to continue to directly reach out to Maddox's mother. Again, it took her this long to feel comfortable to give a public statement, and if she gets to the point where she wants to make another statement, or where Ian, Maddox's father, is comfortable to make a statement, that will come through us in this venue, or if we decide to move to another location. But it will not be in any other place other than with us by our side. It's just overwhelming. Can you just imagine being in that situation? I don't anticipate we'll have anything else on camera today. We will continue to push out regular updates in time for Summer Your Newscast. Check the Facebook, check the Twitter. We are providing as much information as we can, and it's really, really important. I know we keep saying it. It is really important that we hear from anyone in the park that may have seen something that can help us. Thank you all.
When will the park be open?
I don't know the answer to that.
Until further notice.
We're not, but